Hello there.
No.
Let's do this and this. All right.
I had to be on time today. Make up for not turning up at all. I'm so sorry.
Quite okay. Quite okay. Glad to glad to get to see you.
Can you hear some music?
I can. It's very gentle and calming.
Good.
I read a longer piece by a Tibetan monk, um, advice for a dying practitioner at
Oh yeah.
satsang with Hanuman yesterday,
hmm
and it took up almost the whole time. Um, but it was about a page and a half, and I'm happy to share it with you if you like.
If you feel like it, yeah. Well, should I stop the music or leave the music on?
Well, I think we should stay on task here. So if we could have just a minute or two to chat at the end, I
Yeah.
wanted to share that. I wanted to ask you a question. I want to talk about Course in Miracles. So maybe if we leave 5 minutes at the end.
Okay. So today we are still on the chapter called Meditative Concentration. And it's so nice to see you.
Yeah.
And I have a little page turned in here on verse 138. Is that the same as what you have?
See my sight and other senses.
Yeah.
Looks like my connection was unstable there for a moment, but
Oh, yeah. Hold on for a
right
minute,
with you now.
actually. Just sometimes my internet seems quite good, but let me check. Well, it says it's good. I could turn on, I have a thing that's supposed to make it better. Should I put on? I think it seems fine.
As you like.
If there's a problem, then I'll go. Too lazy to go. Go
And
all
I
the
am
way
on,
upstairs.
okay, I'm on the best of our three connections, so
Okay.
we're good.
Now, should I leave that music on? It's kind of nice.
It's not bothersome. If anything, it's soothing.
Yeah, maybe I'll just leave it on for experimental purposes. If you
Okay,
get bored, if you want to off it, tell me,
okay.
okay? Would you like to start reading or would you like me to start?
I'm happy to start.
Yeah.
My sight and other senses, now the property of others, to use them for myself would be improper, and it is likewise disallowed to use my faculties against their owners. Thus, sentient beings will be my chief concern, and everything I see my body has will all be seized and offered for the use and service of all other beings. Take others, lower, higher, equal, as yourself. Identify yourself as other. Then, without another thought, immerse yourself in envy, pride, and rivalry. Here's the center of attention. Sorry, he's the center of attention. I am nothing, and, unlike him, I'm poor without possessions. Everyone looks up to him, despising me. All goes well for him. For me, there's only bitterness. All I have is sweat and drudgery, while he's there, sitting at his ease. He's great, respected in the world, while I'm the underdog, a well-known nobody. I didn't know they had the term underdog 500 years ago.
Well, it's a translation, so they could have
Yeah.
slipped it in there. Hmm.
What? A nobody without distinction? Not true. I do have some good qualities. Compared with some, he's lower down. Compared with some, I do excel. My discipline, my understanding have declined, but I am helpless, ruled by my defilements. As much as he is able, he should cure me. I will be submissive even to his punishments. The fact is, he does nothing of the sort. By what right, then, does he belittle me? What use, then, are his qualities to me? Those qualities of which he's so possessed. Indifferent to the plight of living beings who tread the brink of evil destinies, he makes an outward show of virtues, and even wants to vie with sages. That I might excel, outstripping him regarding as my peer and equal, in contrast I will certainly secure my fame and fortune, public renown. I'm just sort of um, remembering the guidance from yesterday's reading where it translates roughly to not allowing yourself the luxury of a negative thought.
Hmm.
Yeah?
Not a great luxury, is it?
Not really. It's
I
like,
wouldn't call a negative thought a luxury, but yeah, I know what you mean.
yeah, yeah. By every means I'll advertise my gifts to all the world, ensuring that his qualities remain unknown, ignored by everyone. My faults I will conceal, dissimulate, for I, not he, will be the object of devotion. I, not he, will gain possessions and renown. I will be the center of attention. I will take such satisfaction in his evil deeds and degradation. I will render him despicable, the butt and laughingstock of everyone.
Can I pause you for a minute? I
Yeah.
got kind of confused about who is I and who is he. And all
I,
because like at the beginning he said like that he was, identify yourself as other. And I like that. I like that. Then and without another thought, immerse yourself in envy, pride, and rivalry. Like maybe that's what happens in the world. We see that, and so don't see it as like other. And I think that was great. But then he started to say he and I, and I wasn't sure who was he and I supposed to be. Do you have clarity on
I think
that?
he's pretending to
No?
be the one who's really indulging here. He's
Yeah.
pretending to be that guy somehow.
Okay.
And and then
And just
by
being
contrast,
okay with it, is
yeah, and by contrast he's making it seem ridiculous. Like,
it? Yeah.
oh, that's kind of how it's coming across.
Okay.
So 151. People say this pitiful non-entity is trying to compete with me, but how can he be on par with me in learning, beauty, wealth, or pedigree? Just to hear them talk about my excellence, my reputation on the lips of all, the thrill of it sends shivers down my spine, a pleasure that I bask and revel in.
Hmm.
Hmm,
No wonder it's like no wonder I was confused.
yeah,
Obviously, this isn't how you usually talk.
right, right. I'm trying to rein it in, but I found myself certainly in the last couple of weeks watching way too much political news on YouTube.
Hmm.
And I'm really just, trying to become conscious of this part of me that wants to get real, I guess, Schadenfreude, which is like taking um, pleasure in the frustration and pain of others. Yeah. So, I mean, in a way, it's just wanting to see justice prevail and, come
Mm.
on, let's get the bad guy. But,
Yeah.
the whole setting someone up as a bad guy and then watching addictively, hoping that he gets caught is, ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it must be something good. It must be satisfying something.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's okay. We all have different qualities. So you can just, you could just see it, like recognize that quality. Like you said, you want to see justice. So that's quite a good quality, and maybe this is your opportunity to exercise that. And then,
Mm,
like, it can be used for good.
mm,
God can use everything in every being for something
mm,
good. So maybe that want for justice is you're in kind of school now to strengthen it.
mm.
how much you
Yeah.
want this, Yeah. It's all a matter of
Yeah.
perspective, isn't it? It doesn't have to be
Mm,
like a bad thing.
mm, mm.
Hmm.
Even if he does have something, I'm the one he's working for. He can keep enough just to survive, but with my strength, I'll steal the rest away. I will wear his happiness away. I will always hurt and injure him. He's the one who in samsara did me mischief by the hundred. Countless sages, all my mind you spent desiring to attain your aims, and what great weariness it was, while your reward was only misery. And therefore, now most certainly apply yourself completely to the good of others. The Buddha did not lie in what he said. You'll see the benefits that come from it. If indeed you had in former times embraced this work and undertaken it, you could not still be lacking in the perfect bliss of Buddhahood. Therefore, just as you identify a drop of others' blood and sperm and cling to it as though it were yourself, now take sentient beings, others, as yourself.
That's a great verse there. Look, if indeed you had in former times embraced this work and undertaken it, you could not still be lacking in the perfect bliss of Buddhahood. How good is that? Like he's basically saying if you'd already done it, like you wouldn't be lacking. So he's basically saying, like, if you do it, you will be in the perfect bliss of Buddhahood. So I think that's really like a good verse.
It's full of promise, isn't it?
Yeah. And I like that. It's kind of I like this whole bit is about, living for others, really, you know. Well, like that I didn't really understand a lot of verses because he's just basically showing you how crazy people are. And how crazy we are, really, we humans. But like if we instead let go of that, let go of all of that kind of pride and live for others, like then we wouldn't really have any problems at all.
Hmm.
All of that is creating our problems. Like feeling like I have to get something for myself and like I want to be seen in a certain way. It's all like I, like concerned about I. Whereas instead, if we just choose to live for the other, so I kind of feel like it's a good contemplation, like because we can look at our own lives and it can just be, you don't have to look, make a big story. You can just look at today or yesterday, something close and say like how have I yesterday lived for others or how can I do it like today? And we can just start where we are. It can just be whatever occurs to us, and maybe it's not going to occur to us to give of ourselves the whole day, but maybe it will occur to ourselves at a certain, like, okay, this, I can totally give myself to others. And then, like, if we do that all the time, like, kind of reflect that, like, how we can do it, or even seeing how we're not doing it, like, so just kind of noticing where we're not doing it. And then when you really see it, in a reflective way, it can be a bit like, oh, because maybe it's a really nice idea, it's like, yeah, yeah, I'm in service or something. But if you actually look, maybe you're not really doing it. Maybe like you do it once a week or something. So, yeah, service, I'm good. But like maybe like all the other hours of the week, you're not in service at all. You're in service only to yourself, and you use that 1 hour when you're in service just to make yourself like feel okay about it. I think we're guilty of those kind of things.
The best recollection I have of sort of being in that attitude, like long term, is parenting. It's been a while since
Yeah,
I've made, top ramen and served dinner and helped them get ready for bed. But it was so nourishing
yeah,
because I was really completely focused on these two little girls.
yeah.
And I wonder if that's part of the discomfort and real in Portugal we say saudade.
Mm.
Saudade, yeah, sort of um, um some kind of a longing
Mm,
sentimental longing for those times where I could just focus on them and have it be,
yeah,
comfortable.
yeah. You have to serve your wife now. There's the thing with people though, sometimes people don't also want to be served. As a, you know, as a, but that's okay if they don't want it then. But there's always people around somewhere.
Yeah,
I think even if you
yeah.
live alone, you can find something, I'm sure. And there's so many different ways to be in service. So that's why kind of just reflection on your own life is good. So not really in a thinking way, but just kind of being open to being shown. Like I think maybe it's a good place to start. Like how am I not being in service? Like how am I making this all about me? How am I making this day all about me? It might be just like I'm so tired. I'm so tired, like because I didn't get enough sleep, so I need to go and drink my coffee or something. I don't know. It's not that that's bad, but like, whatever it is, just to reflect on our own day. And then maybe, then we have an option that we can modify it or change it a bit. Like, how can I maybe make it? And then even if you're still going for coffee, maybe you can make it be about other people by, that thing like pay it forward. Or maybe it's just like you're going to be very grateful to the people working there, or whatever it is that occurs to you. But I think whatever we do, we can make it be about other people. Now,
Mm.
I have to say, just acknowledge when I'm saying this, I'm feeling like, oh, yeah, that's really good. Like, because I don't particularly live like that, but
Uh,
I would like to, like I'm not so reflective about it, but like this is making those words come out of me. So like these words are equally for me, and I think, yeah, like that feels like a really good reflection, because I feel
mm,
like something in our heart knows, we do want to live for others. And sometimes, like you say, it does just happen and we haven't maybe reflected on it. Because when you say there about the parenting, I think it does happen just kind of naturally. You can go through a day. I can go through a day sometimes feeling just quite empty, and because you're just in the role of being a mother. You're like you say, you're just taking care of your little person and whatever it is that you need to do. So you're really not self-involved at all. And maybe you don't even really notice as well, and like ultimately that's good that we would just be in service without noticing at all. But I think, we have a lot of other roles as well as parenting as well. So I think there is space. I'm pretty sure like that there's space for all of us that we can uh, reflect. And even if it's that we reflect and say, oh, okay, I have actually been in service like all day today, then it's just like, okay, good. How can I be more in service? Like I feel like it's a really good reflection. I'd like to take time to do
I wonder
it.
if I think of Buddhist vows. I wonder if there
Mm-hmm.
isn't
Yeah.
a couple of paragraphs here and there someone could remember when they were waking up in the morning. I mean, we don't want to have to
Oh yeah,
consume
I'm
the
sure there
entire
is.
9 chapters of Way of the Bodhisattva, but maybe just a couple of strong reminders as you get
Oh
up
yeah.
would be a good idea.
I'm sure there is. If we were now proper Buddhists, we'd be able to list them off.
Ah,
There's
yeah.
there's often things like in different traditions, like just for today, I will not do this and that. I did Reiki training years ago when I was 18. So they have a thing, just for today. I can't remember what they were. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for
Mm,
today, I will forgive. I don't know. There's
mm,
maybe 5 or 7 things. I don't know there, but and I know in like a friend of mine was telling me something to do with like AA. They also have a thing when they're trying to just be at peace in themselves, and it's just for today, just for today, just for today. So I would imagine Buddhists probably have some like what they call precepts.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because I was into Buddhism at a certain point, but I have like the worst memory. So I'm not
Mm.
a great person to like I'll forget all about this book probably when we finish reading it. But I don't think like I do. I think like the essence of it gets in, but I wouldn't ever be able to repeat the words.
Mm, mm. No, I get it.
No,
I get it. Yeah,
not what I
for sure.
remember. Yeah.
Not to drift too far off, but
Yeah.
Lama Zopa Rinpoche has just come back. I found a book on the Kindle, found a video on YouTube.
Was he the one who inspired this?
No, no.
No.
He is someone who I think was so close to his students. He's a
Hmm.
Tibetan Buddhist monk,
Hmm.
that he died in front of them. Like
Yeah.
his last few moments in his body were spent basically with his friends, and
Yeah, that's not
um,
nice.
videos of his teaching go way, way back. And I have 4 volumes of his talks.
Hmm.
They were like $1.99 each from
Yeah.
from Amazon. So they've bubbled up to the top again, and
Mm.
I think are some regular reminders to sort of uh, focus on others, carry
Yeah.
yourself in a particularly compassionate way, and so on. So
Yeah.
just wanted to give him some love since we're talking about
Yeah.
the topic.
Yeah, which
You want
verse
to
are
read
we on? Yeah, go ahead.
156? Oh, no, 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 no. We had turned the page and we
Yeah,
were on like
159.
159. Yeah.
Now for others you should spy on everything your body seems to have. Steal it, take it all away, and use it for the benefit of others. That's good, isn't
I love it.
it? I indeed am happy, others sad. I am high and mighty, others low. I am helped while others are abandoned. Why am I not jealous of myself? Happiness, fulfillment, these I give away. The pain of others, this I will embrace. Inquiring of myself repeatedly, I will thus investigate my faults. When others are at fault, I'll take and turn the blame upon myself, and all my sins, however slight, declare and make them known to many. I love that. It's like you're not hiding your sins, you're just like saying it outright. Like, this is what I did, this is what I do, this is what I see myself doing. I think that's really good, and I actually think that's really helpful for people because we can see that we're not alone in our kind of human ways, and we're attempting to not get lost in those kind of human ways. But when we feel like I'm the only one who does this, or I do this and I need to hide it, it kind of keeps them. Whereas when you just declare it and say it, it's like there's no shame around it. And I feel like you're also kind of, by just saying it out, you're kind of willing to not hold on to it. You know, it's just like this is just something I've seen in myself. It's almost like just saying, like, you went for a walk today and you saw a big tree, a small tree, a tree with a branch that fell off. You're just saying what you saw. It's like it's not really even our faults. I don't think they're our fault. It's not like our fault that it's there. That's just how the weather is right now.
If Amba saw 3 trees, would she say, "I saw 3 trees"?
Just like that, yeah. It's not tree trees.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, this is the Irish way. But I will tell you that, like in Irish, the word for three is tree, like Tri,
No
Tri
kidding.
father.
Okay.
So I think that's why Irish people speak like that. A hen, a
Okay.
doe, a tree. But then an actual tree would be something else. A
Okay.
tree is a crown. No, a tree is
Oh.
not a crown. Crown is a head. No, a cown is a head. A cown is a
Ah,
head, and a crown is a tree.
okay.
So I wouldn't have to say three trees then. I could say three crowns.
But I totally agree with you. I think speaking to what Hahnemann would call the human being, it's the human part of being a human being is to,
Yeah, have fun. And
yeah,
I think it is good, like he's saying, it's good to investigate. He's saying, I will investigate my fault. So it is good to, on one hand, we're saying like it's okay that we have them. And it's like you say, Hanuman says, the human part of being a human. But it doesn't mean that we should be, I don't know if this is the right word, but like, I don't think we should be complacent with them either. So investigate them and recognize that, okay, this is not really, serving God or being a bodhisattva when I
Mm,
behave like this. And maybe like, oh, like, is there another way that I could be in that situation? Like, then maybe
mm,
I'll try for that instead. So it's
mm.
not just about like being lazy just because, oh, it's just human, but also we're not kind of feeling guilty about it either.
Yeah. So I think not complacency, but transparency is
Yeah.
what you're speaking to. Mm.
Yeah. When others are at fault, I'll take and turn the blame upon myself, and all my sins, however slight, declare and make them known to many. The fame of others I will magnify, that it might thus outshine my own. Among them I will be as one who serves, my lowly labour for their benefit. This ego is by nature rife with faults. Its accidental gifts I should not praise. Whatever qualities it has, I'll so contrive that they remain unknown to everyone. Like, so it means like you're not going around saying like I'm brilliant. Like if it happens that you're the accidental gift, like as an example, if it happens that you're a brilliant singer or something, you're not going around telling everyone like I am an amazing singer. It's very like to hear people praising themselves, it's very kind of nobody really likes that, really.
No, of course
I don't
not.
know. Like it's wonderful to praise other people and it feels really good to praise people. And even if you receive praise, like, there's a whole chapter on this. Even if you receive praise, it's also like it's okay, but it also feels a bit like, oh no, like it's not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
All the harm, in short, that ego does to its advantage and to others' cost, may all of it descend upon itself, to its own hurt, to others' benefit. Do not let it strut about the place, so arrogant, so overbearing, but like a newly wedded bride, let it be demure and blushing, timorous and shy. Do this, be like that. Such things don't ever do. It's thus that you will bring it forcibly to heel, and if it oversteps the mark, well then, apply the lash. And so, O mind, if still you will refuse, though you have been so lengthily advised, since every evil has its roots in you, you are indeed now ripe for punishment. The time when you could do me harm is in the past and now is here no more. Now I see you. Where will you escape? I'll bring you down with all your haughty insolence. Let every thought of working for yourself be utterly rejected, cast aside. Now that you've been sold to others, stop your whining, be of service. It's easy to read something like this or to hear something like this and say, yeah, 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 it's good. And then as soon as we're finished, we just continue like going about our day and being of service to ourselves. So it's kind of like we have to really like not just take them in, but like I think you have to uh, bring them back up and reflect on them again. Like I know we've said it already, but it's good to say it again. I think we have to reflect on it any time when the mood strikes and ask ourselves like how can we actually do it as opposed to just agreeing with it. I'm sure like this book, how long has this book been out?
500 years ish.
Yeah, so like I'm sure for 500 years people have been agreeing with it. Like and
Mm.
probably maybe even millions of people, thousands or millions of people have read this. But like how many of those people actually did it? So like you could be one of those people, one of those very, very few people, or maybe like if maybe the very few people can grow if we actually do it and not just agree with it. Agreeing with it is nice, and maybe that needs to be there as well, but we actually have to do it.
I
not be
really felt
lazy.
something, and I really felt something when you just brought the questions forward. Okay, how can I actually,
Yeah,
like that's asking the question, remembering to ask the question.
mm,
It's
exactly.
really like, and as I say that, what comes is I don't also have to have the answer. I just asking the
Yeah,
questions might be enough. Yeah.
yeah. I feel like asking the questions is enough and then waiting for the answers. Because if the answers are coming, well, it's okay. Like whatever answers come, but let the answers come. Like we can't make up the answer. Because if we make up the answer, then it's like maybe we're giving service where no service is needed. Like maybe you have a local homeless shelter or something, and maybe they have, you think, oh yeah, I'll go and help with the homeless shelter. And that sounds very worthy, they need help, whatever help they need. But maybe they already have like way too many volunteers already. They have an abundance of volunteers, like too many, because everyone thinks the same thing because it's right there and they need help. But, maybe if you don't force the answers come, whatever, maybe it'll be something unusual, something different. Maybe it'll be something that your mind doesn't really value to be of service, but maybe that's what you're needed to do. Like maybe you just need to pick up rubbish in your local park or something so people can appreciate the flowers or something, something very that maybe you don't really want to do or that you wouldn't really think of because maybe there's not that much rubbish, but there's just a little bit. But maybe it would be like a really good thing to do. I don't know, just an example.
No, it's a valid
Yeah.
example.
Yeah, but
Like I,
just asking the question, I think it's good, very good
mm,
start, and
mm,
being open. Again, not just asking the question and then saying, "Oh, yeah, it's good to ask the question." La la la. So being open the question and remaining open and coming back to the question if the answer doesn't come. Because sometimes we have to kind of quieten down to hear the answer, and we have
mm,
to, and quietening down is kind of in a way it's creating that space of openness for the space to come. Whereas if we just ask the question and there's no quietness, we ask the question and then we go back blah, 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 in service to ourselves. Well, yeah, I asked the question I want to serve. Blah, 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 I'm serving myself. Then there's no space to hear the answer.
you're demonstrating my mind.
Everyone's mind. I like that. Stop your whining. Be of service. For if through being inattentive I do not deliver you to others, you will hand me over, it is certain, to the guards and janitors of hell. For this is how so many times you have betrayed me, and how long I've suffered. Now my memory is full of rancor. I will crush your selfish schemes. And so it is that if I want contentment, I should never seek to please myself. And likewise, if I wish to guard myself of others, I should always be the guard. To the extent this human form is cosseted and saved from hurt, just so, to that degree, it dwindles to a weak and fretful state. For those who sink to such a pass, the earth and all it holds are powerless to satisfy, for who can give them all they crave? Their hopeless cravings brings them misery, and evil schemes invade their minds, while those with free, untrammeled hearts will never know an end of excellence. Therefore, for the increase of my body's wants, I'll give no space, no opportunity, and of possessions those things are the best that do not captivate by their attractiveness. Dust and ashes are the body's final state. This body, which, inert, is moved by other forces. This form, so frightening and foul, why do I so regard it as myself? Alive or dead, what difference does it make? What use is this machine to me? What difference will divide it from a clod of earth? Alas, that I don't rid myself of pride. Through lavishing attention on this body, such sorrow have I brought myself so senselessly. What use is all my wanting, all my hating? For what indeed is like a log of wood? Whether I protect and pamper it, or whether it is eaten up by carrion birds, this body feels no pleasure, no aversion. Why then do I cherish it so much? Resentment when it is reviled, or pleasure when it is esteemed. Neither of these two my body feels. So why do I exhaust myself? If I say I do, since it's loved by other people, others whom I thus regard as friends, since all appreciate the bodies that they have, why do I not take pleasure in them too? Therefore, free from all attachment, I will give this body for the benefit of beings, and though it is afflicted by so many faults, I shall adopt it as my necessary tool. And so, enough of all my childish ways. I'll follow in the footsteps of the wise, recalling their advice on carefulness. I'll shun all sleep and mental dullness. Like the Buddha's heirs in their compassion, I will bear with all that should be borne. For if I do not labor night and day, when will my sorrows reach their end? Thus, to banish all obscuring veils, I'll bend my mind from the mistaken path, and constantly upon the perfect object I shall rest my mind in even meditation.
Can you say something about the perfect object?
Well, what that would say to me really is the influence it has on here would be that the perfect object is like not an object. The perfect object would be like God or the source of everything. The, mm, not really this, but kind of like the silence in our heart, or like even the source of silence in our heart. So when we're just here, we're just quiet. Even if there's noise, there might be noise in our being, thoughts or energies. But the perfect object is that emptiness inside where all of that is coming from. So it's really not an object at all. That's what it is to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, you could pick an object to have, if that's too hard, you know, if it feels too difficult or yeah, just it feels like you're not aware of that, even though of course we are. You could also pick an object that represents that, like so somebody might have like a picture of the Buddha or something. So something that like even represents that, so maybe like a picture of a Buddha because the Buddha himself is focusing on the perfect object. So if we're not able to do it, we could focus instead on the Buddha or whatever that is for us. It could be anything. And really
I think
anything,
it's
because everything is coming from that anyway. So that's why they do say, like in meditation, you can focus on anything. So technically, you could focus on anything because the source of everything is the same, but you have to do it in the right way, I suppose. Like being empty. So if I was to focus on this, you know, just like focus on it in an empty way, like not know anything about it, rather than thinking I know even the size or yeah, I know of its any qualities about it. So if I'm using an actual object to make it be a perfect object, it would have to be that I don't know anything about it, and then it has the potential to become a perfect object. As soon as I know something about it, it's not a perfect object.
it certainly seems like when he's talking about resting his mind. I'll bend my mind from the mistaken path, and constantly upon the perfect object I shall rest my mind in even meditation. That he's really talking about like control. Like
Mm,
I'm not letting this
yeah,
wild mechanism just go crazy. It's
yeah.
you know
And he showed us like a few times in this whole book so far, like how crazy the mind can be. Yeah, and he's shown us all like the ways that our minds behaves or misbehaves, so really we need to rein it in. And like many of these kind of texts, they really are saying the same thing over and over again in different ways, with the hope that eventually like even if one sentence gets through to us, like that's enough. We only really need one. Like, like because like he says, like if we really did it, so if we really did that, that would be enough. Like if we really just forgot about our own identity and instead we were in service to others and to the world, that's enough. Forget about, like, it does say other things in the book in different verses, but like if we did that, that would be enough. And then even then, that becomes a meditation. Like, so you don't have to meditate even separately from that if you really did it. Because if you really forget about yourself, I mean, what, there's no problem.
mm,
Because if there's a problem, who has the problem? It has to come back to like, oh, I have a problem. And then you're back to yourself again.
mm.
I'd love to remember, all the other verses. Like if maybe you're better, but I'd love to remember all the other verses so then I could refer to the other verses.
Mm.
Sometimes, but like I literally can't remember.
It's more like a harmonic, a feeling or an attitude that rises up when you take in a handful of verses at once, or we share them. That
Mm,
really,
yeah.
there's just some incredible power in it, which makes me want to come back to it somehow.
Mm. And that's what it is, when he was speaking them or singing them or writing them, when they came from him, it's not like he had all the words stored up in his being or something. It's more like you said, he has this harmony or this kind of feeling maybe inside, and then they came out. This was the expression of them. Like maybe they surprised him as well. But like then it's like, yeah, like they fit, they match that kind of sense inside. They fit. So then when we read the words, they do have a point. They're not for nothing, but they do bring us to this kind of resonance and a feeling. And yeah, maybe you can't have that feeling and then start to just think about yourself and think, what problems do we have? All this kind of thing. Like it doesn't match, the resonance is different.
Do you think a handbook for an aspiring bodhisattva? Do you think that sort of describes
This,
what we've been reading so far? It really does feel that way. The
well,
way
yeah,
of the
definitely.
bodhisattva.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it's meant to be. I was actually thinking there when we were reading that and maybe it exists already, you know, um, it would be good to make shorter points even though I think when he expands upon them, I think it's brilliant and it's perfect as it is, but just maybe as like more like an introduction or something. I don't know, maybe we could like write a few notes. I don't know, we'll do it, but then like go through each verse in a really short way, like so he's given a point and then he expands upon it to make you kind of say, yeah, yeah, yeah. But like these few verses that we just read today, for example, they're really all about letting go of your own self identity and being of service to others, and he expands upon that. But we could have it, or maybe it probably already exists in the world, but like to have it just in a short point, you know, and each verse I think maybe has it might have more than one point, but some of the verses have two or three points, like a smaller handbook. It'd be like a mini handbook, but yeah, definitely this is a handbook. And good, but it is quite long. Like a lot, most people probably wouldn't have the patience to read that. That's
I would,
what's making me think, because I live in this world where people want the quick, 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 quick,
yeah,
quick.
yeah, true. Well, he's building upon previous chapters, and we're about to start the last one, Wisdom, chapter 9, Wisdom.
Mm. How did I look forward to that? Let me see. I'm checking how many.
Actually, I
167. No, there's
I
another one. Dedication.
yeah, I told a lie. I did. You're right.
That's
Absolutely.
short.
There is a 10th one, a short one called dedication. Maybe dedication sews it all together. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we will. We'll see. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate our reading together today. And I know there's a few things you want to say. Do you want me to pause the video or do you want them to
Yeah,
be in the
yeah,
recording?
go ahead. No, go ahead, pause.
Okay. So thank you if anybody's listening. Thank you for listening. See you next time. Now, how do I stop it actually?